Hello everyone, my name is Tabby. Welcome back to my channel Keeping Tabs, where today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite bookish maps in fantasy books, because they usually are only in fantasy books, but I just want to share with you guys some of my favorite bookish maps and why I think maps are so important in fantasy worlds. I have quite a few to share with you guys, except I forgot one. Okay, so before I get in, I just want to share one map that I think just did little help to the storytelling, because usually when you have a map, it's because the characters are doing a lot of traveling, and well, it doesn't mean that, but usually the characters are doing a lot of traveling within this fantasy world, and a map really helps the readers to keep track of what's going on and how far they've traveled and where all the different characters are in respect to each other. So the book I have here is a book I recently finished and I loved it, but the map was useless. I can't even tell you how useless it was. I'm going to show you the book. It is Falling Kingdoms, and I loved this book, but the map did not help me at all because these characters are often going all over the map. It takes place in 3 different countries, and one of the characters does a lot of traveling. Actually, they all do a lot of traveling, and they travel from different cities, different kingdoms, and we have no idea where these kingdoms are within these. I'm just going to show you the map because me talking about it ain't going to do nothing. So this is the map. It just has a picture of the overall continent and the 3 countries, but it does not have any details about any of the cities. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything. But there are 2 different kingdoms, and we hear about those 2 different kingdoms, and we hear about them going to the harbor and then sailing to here and there and whatever, but there's no kingdoms mapped out here, so we don't really know how far of a distance they travel, and maybe that's not important, but I really like keeping track of my characters' journeys by looking at the map, and this offered nothing. I have since bought book 2 and 3, and the map is a lot more detailed in that one, so they done good. I guess they learned from their mistakes. Moving on, I have 2 different types of maps to show you. Actually, 3 different types, because one of my favorite types of maps are ones that are very specific and show a certain spot in the world, like a city map or a map of a school or a map of a very specific spot. Those maps I love. So the first one I have to show you is from City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, because it has the map of New York here, and all of the places that the characters travel to are numbered, and I love that. The next example of specific locations is in Sabaa Tahir's book, An Ember in the Ashes. She has a really good overall map of like her world and the empire, and I love that map, but majority of the book takes place in the academy, and all of our characters are within this academy, so she has a detailed layout of what the academy looks like, and I love it. She has another detailed map like this in her latest book, Reaper at the Gates. It's a detailed map of these 2 cities, but I haven't read that book yet, so I'm not going to show it, but I've seen it, and it's beautiful. So I want to show you guys the map of the Ice Court from 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, because this book is about a heist, and they have to break into and then escape this prison called the Ice Court, and it's just really fun to keep track of the characters. Like I said, I'm going to be repeating the same thing because it is the same thing. I love keeping track of the characters, so I love this detailed map of the Ice Court. It's so beautiful. And of course, because I talked about 6 of Crows, I have to talk about Crooked Kingdom. Once I saw the detailed map for Crooked Kingdom, my mouth watered, and it is a map of Ketterdam, and it also has a label for all of the key points that we see in the book where the characters go, and I freaking love it. I freaking love it. Okay, now we're gonna get into actual whole continent maps, or like maps of the whole country, and one of these is only here solely because it is so beautiful to look at and it is so aesthetically pleasing. So I'm gonna share it with you. And it is the map of Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo is just killing it with the map game, am I right? The map for Shadow and Bone is so beautifully done. You can see all of these weird creatures in it, and I just love it. I was gonna buy this book solely because of the cover, but then I opened the map and it was a done deal. It was signed, sealed, delivered. I was getting this book. And actually, another beautiful map, I'm just gonna talk about it because I really like it, is in the Heart of Betrayal. Well, in all of these books in the trilogy, but this is the Heart of Betrayal. And it's the map of, I don't even know if this continent has a name. Oh, there's that bookmark. I've been looking for this. Anyway, I don't know if the whole thing has a name, but it shows the 3 kingdoms that are prominent in the story. But the reason why I like it is because of this extra, I don't know, illustration, imagery. It just makes the map so much prettier and gives it more character, and I like when books do that. Because it could have just had like a plain Jane map, like Fallen Kingdoms, but it didn't. It added some of the story, some of the traditions, and some of like the little religions, I guess, that are mentioned in the story is depicted on here, and I think that's really cool. Now we're going to go to maps that were actually helpful for me in the book, and that is the map for Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, because the storytelling, not the storytelling, the world building in this book was very confusing. There's a lot of empires and kingdoms, and it was hard to keep track of which kingdom fell under which empire, and so I was always looking back at this book, at the map. It's not very aesthetically pleasing, but it is very helpful, and I really like that. And in Wind Witch, it's the same map, but the characters are actually moving around a lot more, and where the story is taking place in 3 different parts of the map, so that was even more fun to keep track of in that way. But yeah, this was a very helpful map. And the last map that I'm going to talk about, I can't talk about maps and not mention this one. It's obviously the World of Ice and Fire and the map of Westeros. This is the most detailed map I have ever seen in my reading history. It is so detailed, and just like, to think that he came up with all of this is just crazy. The fact that all of the characters, especially Arya, at any point in the story, we are seeing a lot of this map, either by storytelling through the characters or the characters actually going there. So whenever a character mentions something later on in the books, I have a very, very good idea of where it is in the map because of how detailed the map is. It mentions like major cities, small towns, villages, everything, and it's so beautifully done. I love it. I just love this map so much. And this is only Westeros. We have Essos, and we have oh god, it's just awesome. I'm just a total fangirl for the Song of Ice and Fire, and I should put this down before I ramble even more. But anyways, that was my video. Those are the maps that I love, and there are so many other maps that I have in books, but I haven't read the books yet. But the maps alone make me want to dive into those books. Like the map you've seen on my thumbnail, it's the map for The Way of Kings and the Stormlight Archive, and it's also very detailed and very colorful. A little side note about me, fun fact, is that I love drawing my own maps and making up my own worlds, and I have quite a few maps already like created, I guess, and the towns are named and the forests are named, and I just love it. I don't know why, but 2 of them have sparked novel ideas for me, because it's just fun creating a world and thinking about the kinds of people that live there and what their life is like compared to the people that live on the other side of the map, you know what I mean? And I just love it. I don't know. Anyways, I love maps. That was the message of the whole video. I love maps. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye!